Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It is a early Fireside Chats. We usually go at 10 p.m., but we are going at 1 p.m. today because we have some special guests to talk about the 2A rally. You know some of them, and you probably know all of them, actually. I have Jeff Knox, one of the organizers of the 2A rally. I have Cheng. You might know him from a TV show. He's a TV star from Top Shot, which was on History Channel. And we have one of our favorite guests, the woman in polka dots, the all-star, Cheryl Todd. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
All right, let's just jump right into it since we're ready to go. Jeff, this whole rally came to fruition at the GRPC, which is the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Tell us how you got involved.
I got involved a bit before that, and it didn't, well, GRPC was just a really convenient opportunity to talk to a lot of the leaders and a lot of the people that we needed to talk to. But Rob Pincus and a couple of others of us were talking, and the idea of having a rally, somebody might have noticed that several of us, specifically Rob and I, as we're taking the lead on this, have been fairly outspoken in our frustration with the leadership at the NRA. And that was where this discussion started. We were talking about that whole situation, the Republicans waffling, the media saying that the gun lobby is crippled because the NRA doesn't have as much money and is losing respect and so forth. And we said, wait a minute, they're only a part of the gun lobby. The gun lobby is much bigger than any one organization. We really need to bring that truth home to everyone. And what's the best way to do that? And we decided that a very public rally in DC was it. And we started talking about, is it feasible and what kind of audiences can we reach? And we decided that by reaching out to influencers like you, John, like Cheryl, like Chris, that if we could get you guys to buy into this idea and get you to spread this message, that we could activate the gun lobby and we could come together in DC on short notice. Yeah, we figured out that it is short notice, but that we could do that. And so we started doing it. And one thing that I want to make really, really clear right at the beginning, one of the first things that we, the organizing committee, concluded and agreed on was that it absolutely couldn't be perceived and would not be an anti-NRA rally or anything of that nature. This is a gun lobby rally, and we're not going to go bashing the NRA. We're not, that's not the agenda at all, and we want to make that really, really clear.
Yeah, that's what I get. One of the things I really like about this rally is I'm involved with GOA, but GOA is not a sponsor of this. NRA is not a sponsor of this. No specific organization is a sponsor of this. So this really, really feels like it's a grassroots rally. Cheryl, you are coming from Arizona to be here. Absolutely. Why is it important for you to make that trip across the country to attend?
Well, because of the unity and the collaboration that is built into this. For me, that's everything. From the moment I got into this whole world of having a radio show and being a 2A advocate, the thing that has frustrated me the most is the sibling rivalry, the infighting, we have enough division just between Democrats and Republicans, right, as far as the Second Amendment is concerned, which is not a political issue. The Second Amendment is for everybody, but the politicians have decided for us that it's a political issue. We have enough division right there that the rest of us that understand the importance of our Bill of Rights and what purpose it serves and why our founding fathers fought, bled, starved, and died to secure the ability to write such a document. The rest of us that get that, we should be shoulder to shoulder and not poking at each other about, well, in that one video, your grip was wrong on your shooting stance was wrong. And so therefore nobody should listen to you, or, well, you belong to that one 3-letter gun rights group, so you're not a real advocate. I mean, those kinds of things just drain energy and serve the people that are the enemies of freedom. And so when I see anything that is about unity and collaboration and taking the partisan politics out of it and taking the group, well, if I wear, GOA on my hat, then I can't go play with anybody that has NRA on their hat, any of that kind of stuff that goes on out there. I am going to put as much time and energy behind it as I possibly can, because really I spend as much of my time as I can talking about what I love rather than bashing what I don't love. And so things like this are right in my sweet spot. And so, yes, I will need an entire day of travel to get there, an entire day to be there in DC, and then an entire day of travel to get home. That's a lot of time for me to schedule, but it is 110% worth it to me to support something like this that really is unity based.
Yeah, I see Kevin out there on our YouTube chat room talking about how he's going to make the trip down from New York. One of the things that always fascinates me is this rivalry between organizations. And what's really interesting working behind the scenes at GOA is that it's not so much a rivalry between the actual organizations, it's the membership. Why do you think that is, Chris?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think a lot of Second Amendment supporters, they get very attached to their favorite Second Amendment group, and I would say that the thing that comes to mind is a lot of folks, I think, perceive GOA to be more absolutist, right, and more firm in their support of the Second Amendment, and there's a perception that the NRA and maybe other groups are a little softer, on bump stocks, on magazine capacity, et cetera, et cetera. So, I know there's some, I would say, perceived policy differences, and whether that's real or not is not always super relevant. But I think some of those, the policies and the general attitude of each group can stoke those differences.
Yeah, I see Two Gun Kitty out there will also be making the trip to DC from Albuquerque, New Mexico. That is pretty damn far. You know what else is traveling far? The man of the hour, Riley Bowman from concealedcarry.com, who holds like really awesome podcast on Facebook. You should check him out over there. So you're flying from Denver, if I'm not mistaken, right, Riley? Wow.
Well, actually,
Riley to the Riley.
I am unable to make the trip, actually, due to some family commitments that I have. But actually, I want to talk about that specifically because even though I can't come personally, I am sending a couple of my guys from our team, our managing editor for the website, as well as our social media manager. They will both be there in attendance. So we're really excited about that. But the thing here is that I think everybody has a role they can play, and everybody, like, you don't have to be an influencer even, just whoever you are, wherever you are, even if you can't make it, you should do your part to help promote this event because, I loved what I was hearing from Cheryl and Chris, of course, as far as, this is such I think a unique event with, pulling all kinds of people from all kinds of different organizations and backgrounds and even differences. I'm seeing some people that are even putting aside differences, just keeping the Second Amendment as being the focus. of the matter, and ignoring maybe some petty, things that have happened maybe in the past or whatever. So it's wonderful to see an event like this coming together. It's true grassroots at it, in its essence. So really excited about it. I wish so badly I could be there, because I so would be there. I was looking up flights and everything, and it just didn't work out because of previous family commitments. So
Yeah, that is something that we all have to deal with. Not everyone can do it, especially on such short notice. Which brings me to the question for Jeff. On short notice, Jeff, how hard was it to get all the permits and everything else for the Capitol?
The permits weren't really that difficult. The Capitol Police, we contacted them, and actually when they said that the 2nd was available, we thought, well, supporting the 2nd on the 2nd, let's go with that. And we started applying for permits, and it wasn't an onerous process. We're continuing to, work with the Capitol Police on details and how it's going to go. The guys out there who are insisting that we have to come strapped with our ARs on our chests and all of that aren't helping at all. It makes the Capitol Police nervous, and they keep asking us, please be sure that you tell everybody that this is a not an armed rally and so forth. And I want to reiterate that, guys, it's not capitulation. It's simply the world that we live in right now. This is the objective, is to gather us together in a visible place. It's a rally, not a protest. And I want to make that really clear. If you want to organize an armed rally in Virginia that marches into DC or whatever, and you can get the support for it, power to you, brother. But that's not this rally. This rally is the gun lobby coming together to enjoy and learn and invigorate one another. It's more for us than it is for anybody else, the politicians, the media, anybody else. This is about us, and that's what we want to keep it.
Yeah, Cheryl, you're going to be speaking at this rally. Can you give us any hint on what your speech is going to be about?
Absolutely. I love to be a woman of mystery, but, and this could always change. But so I come at this whole world with a little bit different perspective maybe than a lot of the others who kind of lead with the gun. So I'm a mom, a wife, a grandma. I am a business owner my whole life. My husband and I have had businesses together, small businesses, but my degrees are in psychology. And so one of my favorite authors is a man named Dr. Henry Cloud. And he wrote a book called Boundaries in Business. And the subtitle, or one of the chapters of that book, is you get, in whatever area of your life, you get what you create or what you allow. And that has been kind of a guiding principle in my personal life, in my business life, for many years. And I can see lots of applications for that in the fact that our founding fathers created something that should have been impossible to create, right? But they did. And then what have we, over generations and generations, allowed to happen to it, to the point that a rally like this is so needed, so necessary, to try to help reawaken people to the importance of even reading this guy right here, even reading the Constitution. If people were absolutely honest with themselves and others, and there was a show of hands of all, even the people that come to our rally, I bet, who has actually invested the time reading that? It's an hour. Thank you. Yes. Raise hands. This is the entire Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Here, take the time to read it. So to reinvigorate that is why things like this rally are so important. And so somewhere in there, is going to be probably the basis of my speech, but someone reshared an article I wrote almost exactly a year ago today, talking about why I am a single issue voter. And the single issue is the Second Amendment. And I was so happy to have been reminded of what I had written, that I think that I'm going to pull some of that from the article and include it in my talk. But Jeff is going to be standing there giving me devil looks and holding a hook to pull me off stage. So I'm gonna have to be succinct and get it done in as few words as possible.
All right. We have a question from Two Gun Kitty out in the YouTube chat room, and I'm going to let Chris answer this. She says, what do you say to people not able to attend because aspects of it are not transparent, or they don't like the speakers or see them as shills?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think in terms of transparency, as far as I've seen, the event organizers have been very transparent, and I think a lot of commenters are curious that there's not a single big name sponsor, right? And the message that this is a grassroots rally. It's not sponsored by any single organization. It's literally just being put on by individuals in the community who think a rally is a great idea. So I would say that on transparency. On not liking speakers, like there's just going to be some speakers that people like and some speakers that are liked less. I think the most important part. So for me, the rally is so important. Because when I look at, so I'm a member of the LGBT community, and for many years, for the past 12 years, I've gone to LGBT pride parades, all across the world, walking the streets, being out and proud as a gay person. I think there's an exact correlation, right, parallel to being out and proud as a gun owner, because if we are not visible, then nobody knows that we're gun owners. And so this rally is a way for us as a gun community to show our politicians, to show our communities that it is very normal and acceptable to be a gun owner, and being present at a rally like this is a key way for us to exercise both our First Amendment rights and also protect our Second Amendment rights.
Great answer. Just for those who don't have a pocket constitution, I'm bringing probably about 500 of them with me. So if you see me walking around with my bag, say, hey, hand me a constitution, and I will just throw it to you.
Yeah, and that's what those constitutions are for, right? Is to carry around in your pocket, not to read. I mean, that's what we all do. We carry them around in our pocket. And as Cheryl pointed out, we sometimes neglect the part about reading all of it, knowing all of it, being familiar with the way our government was simply put together with liberty first. And that's a critical issue. I would like to touch on this thing about the criticism out there. Guys, quit trying to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. And for those of you who support the rally, the best thing that you can do is support the rally. Keep sharing positive messages. Keep talking about your intention and what you want to get from the rally, and really keep it positive. I mean, if you want to interact and argue with the people who are being negative, that's your prerogative, and sometimes that's needed and worthwhile. But what's needed even more is 100 messages saying, yes, this is a great idea. Yes, I'm going to be there. Yes, I'm going to not buy that new gun and instead invest that money in going to this rally and meeting these people and getting to know Second Amendment supporters from all over the country. And that's what I'm going to do. And if we have 100 messages that say that, as opposed to the one or two that say, oh, there's never going to be enough people, Oh, Antifa's going to attack you and it's going to be a false flag. Oh, we got to carry all of our guns with us and really make a statement. No, guys, this is a rally. It's for us. I'll reiterate. And the best thing that people can do is just keep saying that message everywhere as often as you can, as broadly as you can, and getting other people involved. That's the most positive thing you can do.
Riley, I'm going to come to you now, buddy. What do you hope that people get out of this rally?
I hope that they see, as has kind of been said here a couple of times, just how wide and broad and diverse our community is. I think that's actually a really important thing to recognize, because so often the way gun owners are portrayed in the media is it's all the older, fat, white dudes, carrying flags and AR-15s around. And while that is part of our demographic, it's a part. I'm thrilled that we have Chris on with us today. He represents another important segment of our community. And I think that's what people get out of this, is seeing just how broad and diverse our community is. It's I was thinking the other day, 40 years ago, it was more than 50% of American households had guns. Today, it's like a third. We can't keep sticking our head in the sand and pretend, and be in our own little world and think that by ourselves we can influence the change that we want to see, that we can protect the Second Amendment adequately. We more than ever have to see past, again, those things we maybe disagree on or that we don't completely support in some other influencer or podcaster or whatever. We have to see past all of that. We have to recognize that it's time for us to come together and to work together and find ways to work together, because the Second Amendment is what's important, not our own personal little agendas, not, promoting our own businesses or media channels or whatever it is. It's about the Second Amendment. And that's what I hope people get out of it.
Yeah. I call Cheryl the Carol of the gun world, referring to Carol of the Walking Dead. She knows I refer to her as that. She'll bake you cookies, but you don't want to mess with her. So I'm going to play devil's advocate, so don't get mad at me, Cheryl. But let me pretend. Oh, I thought I lost you there. Let me pretend that I'm one of these negative Nancys here. The politicians are never going to listen to us. So why should we even show up?
Well, they've already won, if that's where you stay. I mean, how many times have we seen, all of our favorite movies are about, the underdog coming from behind. It's the whole, Goliath, David and Goliath story. The very fact that America exists as the United States is one of those stories. We were outgunned, we were outmanned, we didn't have, the training that we were coming up against the most well-organized and trained army on the planet at the time. And we finally said, you know what? Hell or high water, win or lose, we've got to try. So if someone has that personal attitude, I respect you for that. But thank God you are a minority, because that is the patriot spirit, is to say, we've lost already if we don't try. I see my daughter saying, hi, Mom. Hi, Disney girl, Cassie Todd Jameson. So yeah, that if you've already got I'm defeated, so therefore I'm not even gonna attempt something, you know what? We're gonna fight for you anyway. We're gonna go out there anyway. And we hope that at some point you see that trying is more important than just being a negative Nancy and a naysayer.
Do you mind if I jump in on something there?
Yeah, go right ahead, Riley.
What I would just say is that it's not about the politicians, honestly. It's not even about whether they listen to us, because they probably won't listen to just this one thing. What this is about the people. It's about all of us. It's about all of you. That's what it's about, so that we can come together, so we can figure out how to work together, how to move forward. This is a long play, right? Nothing's going to happen overnight. But if we keep getting into these little divisions in our own 2A community, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to bring the show of force to our politicians. So it's not about them. This event, I think, is about the people. That's just my opinion, though.
All right. I'm going to kick it over to Chris. I have a question. I have a friend that lives in San Jose, Menlo Park, for be specific, and she is a trans gun owner. And one of the things that she gets a lot of flack about is being a trans gun owner. People are like, how can you own a gun? You're trans. Which to me, I don't really understand the argument. But have you heard anything similar to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I live in San Francisco, and I get a lot of the same kind of occasional flack from my gay friends. And what I tell them is, look, if you're part of any kind of disenfranchised community, right? Whether you're gay, lesbian, bi, trans, or whether you're Jewish, or whether you are, any other kind of, right, again, minority group that's often targeted for violence. It absolutely makes sense, right, for those people to choose to carry a firearm or to have firearms, right, in their home and in their vehicles. And I think a lot of people in the LGBT community who, many of them, I think, who live in cities where they think they're safe and protected, even though some of our crime rates, in the city, can be pretty high. This whole concept of taking personal responsibility, right, for your own safety is often a foreign concept. So, for example, I grew up in Southern California, where I was, taught if you're ever in trouble, you call 911, and the police will come save you. And now, as an adult, I've learned, okay, well, that sometimes happens, but often you call 911, and they're just there to write up report, right, and do paperwork, right. The crimes and violence can happen so quickly, and having a firearm, right, as a means of personal protection is a key way of taking your own safety in your own hands. And for transgender individuals or other members of the LGBT community, right, we are often targets of violence, and we need a way to protect ourselves. So that's often where I lean in with those kind of conversations with my gay friends.
All right, that's a good thing. I also wanted to bring up, Kevin said that he heard on different chats people are planning to carry if you can legally carry. DC is a shall issue state, so there are a lot of people there that have concealed carry permits. But the rally is at the Capitol. And the Capitol is federal property, so you're not really bound by DC law. You're bound by federal law, which means unless you are a member of federal law enforcement, you are legally not allowed to carry. So I just wanted to clear that up right now. That's why I threw it up there. Jeff, some people are planning on carrying empty holsters. As I don't know what the point is, maybe some type of protest or something. What do you think people should do? Do you think that they should, or you think that's just going to take away?
I think that it's going to be a distraction if they do. I've participated in empty holster protests. It's fairly common, especially on the East Coast. In places, Florida and Maryland, where open carry is completely banned. And so guys will go out, guys and gals, folks. To me, guys is a unisex term, so please forgive me if I'm politically incorrect. But folks will go out and they'll have their empty holster visible. Sometimes put a banana or something in it. Some guys will put a blue gun in it, and walk around and be polite and respectful and present and try and say, look, we're just normal people like you, and whether there's a gun in this holster or not has no real impact on you. So I understand the concept of empty holster protests, and I've participated. In a situation like this, we're in one of the most policed pieces of real estate in the bloomin' world, and you've got cops who are going to be looking very hard for any sign of carry, and if they see a holster, well, they might be compelled to do a cavity check because of that, and I would hate to see people go through those kinds of hassles, and that kind of confusion. But you're absolutely right. In DC, at a rally on the Capitol grounds, it's virtually impossible for anyone to legally carry. It really is restricted to on-duty federal law enforcement. That's it. So anybody thinking in that direction, that's probably not a great idea. And as far as empty holster, or some people have talked about doing signs that are cutouts of guns that look like guns, I don't think that would go well with the snipers up on top of the Capitol building. It's just not really a good idea. And the objective here is for us to come together, not for us to create martyrs. That's what we don't want. We're not looking for martyrs.
Yeah, being from the DC area, I can tell you for sure that they don't mess around. This isn't like other cities. They take this pretty seriously, and they definitely do not mess around.
Well, and that's another thing, John, that I'll throw in there. As one of the most policed areas in the country, it is one of the safest places that you can be. I've been to a number of rallies, some of them very volatile issues that no concern about counter protests and violence or anything like that. I would not hesitate to bring my 5-year-old grandson to this rally. Wouldn't hesitate for a moment. I am completely confident that this is going to be safe and peaceful and pleasant, and that we're going to leave the lawn of the Capitol in better shape than it was when we got there. That's my expectation.
All right. Someone is also asking about do's and don'ts guide, like a concise list. I'm actually going to write an article probably next week is going to drop. And then I'm also going to do a live stream about what you can do in DC if you want to make it like a weekend or something like that. So I feel that would be very useful. And me being there, live 20, 30 minutes away from the Capitol, I think it would be actually a good thing. I'm going to kick it over to Cheryl really quick. Cheryl,
Yes.
What do you think the most positive outcome of this rally can be?
The most positive outcome of the rally, I think, is that people will go home, be energized or re-energized, be filled with new thoughts and ideas that they then not only share in their carpools and around the water coolers and at their PTA meetings and the Little League baseball games, that they share these ideas with others, that they share on the social media world and realm, because that does seem to have a tremendous impact on forming people's paradigms and ideas and that sort of thing. And then that they actually act, that they actually will get engaged if they haven't before, or maybe engage at an even more energized level with the political process. Because even if you want to say, I'm not a political person, the fact is that you live in a country that has become everything is politicized. And if we want to sit home and go, well, my vote doesn't count or any of that kind of nonsense, you're you're getting what you allow, right? You're getting what you create, and you're getting what you allow. So I'm hoping that people just really understand. Jeff and I talked about this on the interview he and I did yesterday on my show, Gun Freedom Radio, that even the lower level elections, like the dog catchers, right? Any level of election, you and I have to be engaged. I have people all the time who reach out to me because my husband and I own a couple of brick and mortar businesses, and people look for donations, or they look for endorsements, or they look for, whatever influence we can help them with their campaign. And I always ask two questions. What is your political party affiliation? And what is your stance on the Second Amendment? Because even in the elections where people want to push back and they say, oh, well, it's the dog catcher position, so it's a non-political position, so it doesn't matter. I say it matters to me, because it does. Because they come in at some lower level, they start getting a foothold of power, and then off they go to the races. And by the time we figure out that we helped elect somebody that absolutely does not have our best interests in mind, will say that they support this document and then don't, with every fiber of their being and every vote that they take within their office, it's too late. We've already opened the gate and off they've gone. So I am really hoping that this rally will energize people and help them to refocus on what the real enemy is. And I always hesitate to use that word, because people think that there's some aggression behind it or something like that. And I don't mean it in an aggressive way. I just mean that you are either pro-Constitution or you're not. You're an enemy of our rights. You're an enemy of what this country was founded on. And if we can all just put our eyes on the true enemies out there and vote them out of office, don't help them with their new campaigns, and find people, or be the people ourselves, who step forward. Look what Maj Touré has done, city council in Philadelphia. He threw his hat in the ring. He's like, I've never been a politician before. I'm just one person. Those two sentences right there is what stops most of us from inserting ourselves into that conversation. And he moved forward anyway. And, the election is going to be around the time I think we're at the rally. So we don't know what the results are, but he has changed the conversation just by being in it. And I think that's one of the things that's going to come out of this rally. We've got to support people who are true supporters of this, or we have to be those people that step forward into the political ring and say, all right, it's going to be ugly, it's going to be messy, and but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, one of the most awe-inspiring things that I have seen is people coming together, like even in the comments here on the YouTube comments, and I also see it in a little bit of the Facebook comments. But people are like planning on carpooling. Somebody said, well, I can't get there. And someone's like, well, where you're coming from, I can help you. And that is really inspiring to me, to see the gun community come together and help each other out like that. Riley, I keep on saying Raleigh because, whatever. But Riley, what is the most inspiring thing that you have seen come about with this rally?
All of the social media posts and videos and things out there from all kinds of people, and just seeing the support that this has been generating has been really inspiring. Because when I first jumped on board and, began throwing my weight behind this, and concealedcarry.com is we generally don't get involved in political activism, but because we felt like this fit within our paradigm, we wanted to get behind this and support it, and primarily because it is nonpartisan. It is not. It is a loose coalition of people and organizations. It's not one particular organization. It's not one, segment of our community. It's trying to bring everybody in, and we appreciate that. And so seeing that actually start to happen and everything begin to pick up steam, like, man, it's really awesome to see.
All right. Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you now. Like, how can people find a place to stay in DC area? Is there a lot of places? I know the answer to this, but maybe other people don't. But is there a lot of places? Or are you guys working on any type of deals?
Yeah, there are a lot of places, but we've got a deal in the works. Somehow we're getting crossways on our communications, and I'm trying to reach out to them again. But we've got a deal for $89 per night. Includes breakfast, includes free shuttle from Dulles International Airport to the hotel and back, and also a free shuttle from the hotel to the metro station that's just down the road. So that's a hard to beat deal, and I'm hoping to have a code for that up here in by today sometime. I don't know why we can't seem to get this deal inked, but that would be $89 a night in the DC area is extremely good. Although if you're not, high dollar tastes, and this isn't a high dollar hotel, it's a Hyatt Place, which is a nice hotel, but it's their economy line. And I noticed that there are other hotels around that you can get a room for around $75 a night on any of the regular Expedia or whatever. And that the secret though is be close to a metro and have a way to get to a metro station. So this one in particular, because it's out by Dulles, makes it really good because it's close to the airport, free shuttle to the hotel from the airport, and a free shuttle out to the metro. Riding the metro in is the best way. Driving in DC is crazy.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it if you can avoid it. Look at the maps, look at the metro station maps, and go in. Stay somewhere around Dulles or Centerville, and you're close to the National Firearms Museum at NRA headquarters, which is definitely worth stopping in and visiting. And that's a great idea and great way to do it.
All right, Chris, I'm going to kick it over to you here. All right, so you're going to the rally, right? And you're flying out from San Francisco. That has to be a long flight.
Yeah.
Are you planning on making it a weekend, or are you just going to jump on a plane, fly out, go to the rally, then fly back?
Yeah, similar to Cheryl. Yeah, I'm going to be jumping on a plane Friday morning. You basically spend all day in the air, and also, I want to highlight this is a grassroots rally. I'm paying my own way, right, to get to our nation's capital. Saturday is the rally, and afterward there will be a number of us who are going to meet for drinks and food afterwards. So even after the rally, right, we'll continue the great conversations and networking, and then Sunday, I'm flying right back home, and Monday I got to get back to my day job. So I want to highlight that all of us are making sacrifices, right, to support our Second Amendment rights and to attend this rally. I've heard a number of comments such as, it's the first day of hunting season. I've got this or that commitment. And I get it. I totally understand. But I guess specifically with the hunting season, right, situation, one weekend, right, we're really only talking about, Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the U.S. Capitol. It is a small sacrifice, right, in the bigger picture of things, where if we don't protect our Second Amendment rights, then, right, future hunting seasons, right, for future generations, right, may either not exist, or the number of days we're allowed to hunt, right, could also be reduced. And so it requires sacrifice, both financially, time, and from work and right from all our regular daily activities. But this is what grassroots activism, right, is all about. It's about being present. It's about being vocal, and it's about demanding that our rights are protected.
All right. Jeff, what do you hope the outcome on November 3rd will be after the rally?
My big hope is that this will echo back out into the community. Of course, the biggest impact is going to be on the East Coast, but it's not just about what happens that day. All of this is going to be videoed and be up on YouTube and floating around on social media. And what I really want is to energize the grassroots and to give ownership of the title, the gun lobby, to every lover of liberty in the country. And so I really want I want that echo. I think it was Pete over at Gun Websites that used that phrase, the echo. But I really want to I really want to see that resonate out with the people, and I want them to understand that there isn't this. Maybe there is a finite pie, and all the different groups get a piece of the pie. But right now, there's 100 million gun owners in this country, and maybe 6 or 7 million belong to any one organization. So the pie is way bigger than anybody is getting right now. So the part that we're sharing, and this is what is really frustrating for me, is that we're not competing. The organizations are not competing for dollars. They're not competing for ears. They need to be cooperating. We need to be, and yeah, maybe we're not going to be on the same page, but we need to be in the same book and the same chapter, and working and doing what we believe is the best thing to move forward now, without criticizing the other guys for what they're doing, if we can avoid it. Sometimes we can't, because sometimes what they're doing is stupid and dangerous and harmful, and so, or that's how we see it, and we have to call that out. But the competition aspect, that's what I don't like, and I don't understand, and I want to see come to an end. I want the American gun owner to stand up and be the gun lobby, and that's what I hope to see on November 3rd and forward from there.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said before, the competition aspect is really weird to me, working behind the scenes, because because GOA doesn't hate NRA, NRA doesn't hate GOA, FPC doesn't hate anyone. There's only like one that can think of that has a problem with anyone. But I won't get into that here. I'm going to kick this off to Cheryl. We know what you want to get from. We know what you want the people to get from this rally. But what do you want to get out of this rally?
Well, I always get energized and kind of renewed when I get a chance to be physically with the other people that are like-minded about our Constitution and the purpose of being a Second Amendment advocate. It's easy to get tired and discouraged when, you're sitting at home, I do so much of my work just sitting behind a computer. I have access to, networking and talking to a lot of our friends in this community through the social media and through texting, and we call each other every once in a while, but there's nothing like that energy that you get when you are physically together. And so SHOT Show is always a have to go. The NSSF Business Industry Summit is always a have to go. The NRA annual meetings, a have to go. These are times when we can come together and just kind of be in each other's presence. There's nothing you can really wrap words around to explain it or to fully understand it. But that congregation is powerful, and it really does refuel me and help me feel that I'm not that lone voice, shouting into the wind, and my words are carried away the minute they leave my lips, that the media and so many other people out there would love for me and love for others to believe. So yeah, for me, it's a refuel, recharge.
All right. Hey, Riley. I keep on calling you Riley. Riley. Sorry about that. Just too similar. Riley, this event is going to be a one and done. From what I understand, the organizers say, this is going to be a one-time event. But would you like to see people pick up the mantle and maybe hold local events like this every year at their state capitals?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. I mean, provided that I think the approach is the same, right? Like, I want to see more of these inclusive, true grassroots type events, staying as much away as possible from partisan type issues, particular parties, particular demographics. I'd love to see more of this go on a local level, because I think this is the right approach. I mean, I've said this before on my podcast and elsewhere, that to me the Second Amendment is the true. Everybody talks about in political sphere about a big tent party, right? Well, I think the Second Amendment is the true one big tent ideal, because it is it's a lot more diverse group of people, all of us gun owners, than people realize. And we come from all kind of different political backgrounds, demographical backgrounds, different parties, all of that. And if we could just do a little bit better job of truly uniting, just imagine how powerful we would be as a true lobby. I mean, that's been a hashtag that's been going around since this thing kicked off. We are the gun lobby. Well, that's the idea. We the people, everybody, we're the gun lobby. And so, yes, I'd love to see more of this with that kind of approach.
Yeah. One of the other things that I really love about this rally is it's singly focused on just gun rights. You're not going to hear anything about abortion or anything about anything else like that. Maybe you might hear about the Washington Nationals winning the World Series, but that's about it. I'm a local guy, so I have to I have to push that. But coming from California, where the culture is so different, I'm going to kick this off to Chris. Do you think that this rally can have any positive effect on what's going on in California with gun laws? I know your governor out there just passed some really crazy laws. Do you think this can reverberate back all the way to California, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great question. And, for rallies, for me, it's very much, I want to walk away with a sense of empowerment, right? To be energized and to have an increased sense of community. And, ultimately, right, that energy, right, can go back to California residents who, we have a lot of what I call closeted gun owners in California, right? That they are afraid to speak out, afraid to be vocal, to be present and known as gun owners. And, obviously, our politicians, right, are elected by the people. And so if California residents get empowered and energized about, it's okay, right, to speak out in defense of your Second Amendment rights, right? It's okay to vote, our pro-gun politicians in and vote anti-gun politicians out. So there's definitely, this rally will be felt all across the country. I was just on a radio show last week in Alaska, and this Alaskan radio station, has a lot of pro gun owners, and they're also very excited. And while many of them are not able to fly from Alaska to DC, they're talking to all of their friends and family, stateside here in the main 48. And, it's a way for our country to get involved a way to bond together and be unified in our support of the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really love that answer. So, Jeff, how can people find more about the rally?
SecondAmendmentRally.com. That's 2ndamendmentrally.com.
Yep, it's up on the screen.
Huh?
It's up on the screen. So
okay. SecondAmendmentRally.com. And something I want to point out, if you look up there in the tabs, there's resources. And what's on the resources are things like flyers and pictures and things that you can take and print the flyers to take to your local gun club. There are buttons that you can put up on your website or your blog, and that brings people back to here. And of course, you can register there, and we will feed you direct information via email about what's going on. And so anybody who's registered, once I get this Bowman hotel deal inked, I'll try and send that out to everybody who's registered so that they know about it. And of course, the Facebook page. We've also got an Instagram account. If you chase us down on Facebook or Instagram, and it's not the easiest thing to find on Facebook and Instagram, and I maybe you can find it and put up links. I had to do a little bit of searching and a little creativity, probably searching Pincus. He's tied in, or my on Facebook. If you look for me or Cheryl or anybody, you'll find our links back to the Second Amendment Rally. On Facebook. For Instagram, it's probably easiest to search out Rob Pincus.
I have it up on the screen right now.
There you go. Just at 2A Rally. That's complicated. I don't know why I can't remember that.
Okay, I prepare everything in advance.
Yeah. But at any rate, all of those things are ways to find it. And one of the things that I want to stress as well, and that's why I pointed out this resources tab on the website, is it's really up to you, up to everyone who's listening to pursue this. I've talked to, I deal with about 35 different leaders of grassroots groups around the country on a regular basis. And I've been a little disappointed, and I understand it. And I've experienced this in the past with other projects. But they've all got their own things going on. They've all got their own agenda that they're busy working on, and that their manpower and dollars are devoted to. And so it's difficult for them to shift gears and suddenly move into promoting this event that they don't see as particularly doing anything for their organization. And that's problematic. And one of the things that people can do is contact your local grassroots group and say, are you guys getting behind this? Are you trying to organize buses to go? Are you promoting it in your emails? And if they're not, volunteer to be that guy. Volunteer to be the guy who will, okay, I'll tell you what, you guys send out the email and you can use my email return address for anyone who's interested in taking a bus. And I'll see if we've got a list of people interested in buying a $60 round trip bus ticket. So maybe we can have a bus from Cincinnati to DC for $60 like the Connecticut folks have. And I'll organize that. I'll help do that. I'll be the point of contact for the rally for our state group, and take that load off of them, and at the same time make it clear that you want them to be involved, that their members want engagement in this, and that's a big, huge help.
Yeah, I would like to see like gun shops get involved too, and get buses together.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, again, the flyers, you can print out those flyers off of the resources page at the website, and take those down to your local gun shop. Talk to the gun shop about, hey, do you want to help sponsor a bus? Do you want, we can put your banner on the bus. We can have everybody, you can pass out discount coupons to everybody who's on the bus. And one of the great things about a bus is that you can have a celebratory adult beverage on the way home, which, guys like Clover Tactical is going to drive, 14, 15, 20 hours to get there and turn around and drive the same thing back again. Clover, find 50 other guys and take a bus, buddy.
Yeah, I know United Patriots, 3% United Patriots of Virginia are organizing carpools from different places in Virginia, and I would like to see other organizations. It doesn't have to be a gun rights organization. It could be a constitutional organization. I'm going to kick it over to Cheryl. Cheryl, any parting words? We're coming up on the top of the hour.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I'm seeing in the comments, Ghost Tactical is echoing something that I say quite a bit. And it actually came from a comment my daughter made when she was, really too young to be this wise. So I'm pretty proud of her. And that is, one day she said, Mom, you can be pro 2A and anti-gun at the same time. And it caught me off guard. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And I said, no, you're exactly right. There's people out there that they would never own the tool themselves. They have no interest in owning the firearm themselves, but they will fight to the death for our constitutional rights. So they can be pro-constitution, pro-rights, and wish that nobody ever had to own a gun or did own a gun. And that's a whole middle space that really I do try to reach with my speeches and my show and all that sort of thing, that so often gets left out of the conversation because of the infighting, because we speak to each other in acronyms, because we talk too much inside baseball. And so I think that if the speakers that I'm seeing lining up, there will be several that are able to address that kind of heart set and mindset, and people will feel that their voices are being heard from the microphone, that they don't necessarily have to be out on the range every week and lead with the gun in order to affect a really important and positive change in the conversation and the political sway here in the United States.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up that you don't have to be pro-gun to be pro-2A. One of my good friends, his name is Ed. He's actually going to the rally. He doesn't own a gun. He doesn't want to own a gun. The guns aren't his thing. But at the same time, he realizes this is about more than guns. This is about the right of the people and your constitutional rights and how people want to infringe on that. So I'm so glad that you said that, because you sound like Ed, and Ed's a really cool guy. He goes by Mud Dog, so he lives in the backwoods. Great guy. I'm going to kick over to I'm going to call him Riley on purpose, but Riley Bowman. And you got to have me on your show, Riley.
Sure, man.
But final words.
Yeah. I actually just wanted to say that I've always been personally pretty hesitant about getting on board with certain rallies, partly because I didn't feel like the approach was the right approach. It wasn't inclusive enough. It was too abrasive. I mean, I am a pro 2A guy through and through. I'm a big gun guy too. But at the same time, I'm a realist about the world we live in. And there's some certain tactics that are not as effective as I think what the approach behind this rally is. So I was really excited to hear about this, and upon researching it, I jumped on board right from the just as soon as I did a little initial research, I said, yep, this is worth it. I've even been on my podcast is saying some stuff about, I don't really do the rally thing, but this one is worth it. So I'm asking everybody out there within the sound of my voice, support the rally in some way. All right, head on over to secondamendmentrally.com, sign up, or respond there or register there or whatever we're calling it. Do that. At least if you think you can make it, but you're not 100% sure, still do that. Even if you can't make it, there's still an option for that. We'd like to hear from you. And then also we'd like for you to get the word out. So use hashtag 2A rally. We are the gun lobby, all that stuff. Spread the word, make videos, talk to folks about it, and encourage them to be there, even if you can't be there. Like, I can't be there, and it makes me sad that I can't be there, but I'm going to do everything I can to help spread the word and help others try to get there. And there's a lot of great options. You know, it's been talked about here today about folks doing some stuff behind the scenes, trying to make it more affordable, easier. I would encourage you to do a bunch of research and try to find a way that can get you there. So, guys, do it, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, I would really love to see everyone possible there. If you see me there, I know I'm not famous and I'm not a big YouTuber or anything, but just come up and say hi. I would love to meet every single person. And Cheryl says she will bake anyone cookies and be handing out cookies to anyone at the rally who comes up and says the secret words, John Crump rocks, and you'll get a free cookie. I'm going to kick it off to Jeff. I'm going to remove Cheryl so she can't say anything. But
fake news. Hashtag fake news.
All right, Jeff, any parting words? I'm going to give you the last word on this because I'm
the most important.
Because you rock. That's it. You rock.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody who came on the show today and are discussing this, and everybody who's coming to the rally. I want to personally shake hands with every single person at that rally. Because I want to exchange that energy. I want to thank you personally for being there, for everything that everyone is doing to make this a success. It's going to be a success. People who are, again, for the negative Nellies, we have over 4,000 people who have signed up and registered at this point. And for every single person that has registered, there's no incentive really to register. So for all of the people who have registered, there's probably going to be a whole bunch of people that didn't register that are going to show up. We do encourage you to register. It helps us feel better and helps us plan better. Just go to the website, fill out the form, click on yes. We're not going to sell this data to anyone. It's going to go away. And this is one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make, is that we decided that in the spirit of this rally, and the organization, that we're not keeping this information. We'll probably send out a final email with a wrap up and invite you to join other lists, but this list is going to be evaporated when this is all over. There's also some discussion about possibly trying to make this the dress rehearsal for an even bigger rally next year. And we might stretch out to that point, but the committee hasn't really discussed it in detail yet. We've got enough on our plate right now, but that's a possibility. And it's something that I'd love for you guys to consider and think about. Is that something that we want to do? And, should we try and do it again? So think about that and put that in your hopper. But right now, the big thing is spread the word, share it, get out there on Twitter to all of the tweet to all of the media people that that you follow, and ask them, are they going to be there? Are they going to say something about the rally before the rally? Are they, get to your leaders, your state and national leaders, and encourage them to get more involved, no matter how involved they already are. This is going to be great. I look forward to seeing everyone there. Please, like I say, I want to shake your hand. Thank you. Thank you, John. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about it.
I just want to say, give everyone a chance to tell people how they can find you. So I'm going to, Jeff, how can they find you?
My website is firearmscoalition.org, firearmscoalition.org. And you can find links to all kinds of things from there, and lots of my articles going back for years and years.
All right, and I almost did it again. Damn it, Riley. How can people find you?
Concealedcarry.com.
It's actually a great website. Great. I just want to throw out that. I mean, I watch his live streams a lot. His podcasts are on Facebook. They're great.
Yep, and we just had Cheryl on a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw. It was great. And Carol, better known as Cheryl, the polka dot woman, Todd.
I still have to go watch that show because I have not seen, but I did look her up online. So yeah, I'm gonna have to up my zombie killing game.
You've got way better hair, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Yeah, she has better hair, Brett. But you got to admit that there's something about her that reminds you of Carol.
That's absolutely true. It's that quiet, pleasant, loving, welcoming kind of person that you don't want, because there's a powerful strength in this woman, and we all appreciate that very much. I've actually nominated Cheryl to be our official troll hunter out there on the interwebs, because the people who are criticizing and saying, well, we need to, from my dead cold hands, and we need to march on Washington, and Cheryl very pleasantly just convinces them that that's not a good idea. And as I said in a private chat, that if that was me or Pincus, it probably would lead to fisticuffs. But with Cheryl, it leads to yes, ma'am.
You can't go against her. She's just so wholesome.
That's right. That's right. She is absolutely awesome. But I want her to either adopt me or leave me Kim and her daughter in her will, because that would be a massive advance for the Firearms Coalition if I were to be able to have that kind of power team on my team. Absolutely.
Oh. Wow, you saw that kind of thick, Jeff.
No, my team is the reason that I can be everywhere and do everything. So truly, Kim and Cassie, that's a good thought. I should bequeath them to you,
and
Jeff.
Cheryl and her husband, Danny, have one of the greatest little gun shops that you have ever seen. If you're ever in Arizona, come out to Avondale and visit azfirearms.com. They are just awesome. It is the coolest place.
I want to go.
You guys, I'm embarrassed. Stop. No. Stop saying all these nice things. Seriously, though, you guys are awesome. I appreciate it. And that is that support that we give each other online and when we're in person. We really are a very inclusive and a very uplifting group. And so I think that's just a quick example of that. So yes, to how to find us, thank you for the plug for azfirearms.com. We also have an auction house, POG auction, pot of gold estate.com or pogauction.com can get you there. And gunfreedomradio.com is where you can find all of my interviews and all of my guests. And I think I still need to have a couple of you on, but I've definitely had Jeff on and I've had Chris on in the past. So I need to get with it.
What am I? You forget about me? I was on your show.
And John, of course, I've had John on, but I need to have Riley still. So definitely that. He had me on, which was wonderful. Set the bar really, really high for me. So I'm going to have to get on that.
Yeah, I'm scared if I go on Riley's show, because his show makes my show look like amateur hour.
I don't know about that.
Well, you're going to just have to practice his name a couple of times. Like,
no, it's Riley. I got his name down. It's just that when I'm thinking of, we're doing a podcast about the rally.
Yeah.
Rally, I'm going to call him George from now on.
It's all right. I'll go by Rally proudly. Riley. Hey, Cheryl, I'll be down in November in your neck of the woods, and just a month or so away. Maybe we should connect in person then.
Definitely, let's do that for sure. And Jeff lives like 3 miles from me. I never get to see him unless we're traveling somewhere, across the country. But Jeff lives here too.
Nice.
I hope to see you all at the the Riley. But yeah, my name is John Crump. I am the Virginia director for GOA. I write for a little organization called MLN News. They are my main employer. Check out 2aproject.org. We're going to be giving away a Canic handgun to a single mom in training. So go there and figure out how to enter a mom. And basically, it's very simple. You just make a little video nominating, saying why this mom should get the Canic. The Canic is from Century. The firearms training is paid out of my own pocket, so we're not making any money off of it or anything. And if you want to support projects like that, because everything I do goes back in the 2A community, you can go to patreon.com/John Crump. We do fireside chats every Saturday night. So yeah, this is a little example of what we do. And we will talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Please attend the 2A rally. I'm going to put it up one more time for you, the website, once I get it right here. Second Amendment Rally. So 2ndamendmentrally.com. You can follow them on Instagram at 2A Rally. And that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and you all have a good day. Be safe out there. And remember, the Second Amendment is the only right that cannot be taken away. It can only be given away, so protect yours.